Welcome to Prody Academy, education for your business to help you be successful. My name is Zane Stevens, and I'm the founder of Prody Financial. Here I am again to talk about BOI, but this is the big news that I wanted to share with all of you, that this will most likely be my last update when it comes to the very controversial BOI reporting that we've all been sort of chasing our tails about all of 2024 through the first quarter of 2021. I released the video on March 21st with the caveat that I'm guessing there's going to be a change, but it does seem like FinCEN is waiting to the very last minute to make a decision. No surprise, after the video released, an update. And this is where it went. The US Treasury and FinCEN have delivered the long-awaited relief. As of March 2025, US-created companies are no longer required to report beneficial ownership information under the Corporate Transparency Act. Man, we are free. This is a very expensive bill that was put in place that put a lot of financial pressure on small businesses to stay compliant, and the penalties for not staying compliant were excessive. If you go to the FinCEN.gov website, there is an immediate release that came out with the headline, FinCEN removes beneficial ownership reporting requirements for US companies, and US persons set new deadlines for foreign companies. This obviously was a massive change, from this extremely broad set of information to a much more narrow definition of who should be reporting. I do want you to sort of be very careful, though, when you are looking at what is a local entity, a US-based company. It is very important that their definition, and you can go to the FinCEN website to look for it, I'll drop the link in the description as well, is they're talking about entities that were first incorporated in the US. So if you were a foreign company and then you created an entity in the US to do business here, you will be excluded from the situation and you would still need to report. So that's just a little caveat. As you're a business owner, make sure you go check that out. This change came because of a lot of legal challenges, and the main part what came up to it, and it's so frustrating that it took so long. This piece of legislation had been sitting around for such a long time, but a lot of people were really concerned about the cost for small business owners. And part of that is the way it was written. It basically said you needed legal advice to be able to make these allocations correctly, and that put a lot of pressure on people using third-party services, which there's a lot of great ones out there that were really looking to make a difference and help, or using your attorney. And many attorneys, if they did not set up the initial entity, didn't want to do this work either. FinCEN's final interim rule is effective March 26th, 2025, and has the ability to narrow the scope a lot. So it is clear from this release is that it's only foreign-formed companies registered in business in the US are required to file BOI reports. That is very clear. For US-formed entities, including LLCs, corporations, other small business structures, this means no more BOI reporting obligation, deadline, or penalties for the time being. And we're going to put that for time being because, I'm saying this is our final video, but who knows what happens. The original January 1, 2025 deadline and proposed extension to 2026 are now irrelevant for domestic entities. I do want to caveat, this might not be permanent relief. The CTA itself hasn't been repealed, only the regulations were revised. Legal appeals are ongoing, and FinCEN is accepting public comment on the rule changes until May 20, 2025. Effectively, the way I read those changes, that there could be a broadening of the scope. They've gone super narrow, and now they might start adding a little few companies and sizes onto it. It is so, something to worry about is if there is a change in administration, right? This was a rule that was sort of signed under the previous administration. New administration came in and fought hard against it. So who knows? There could be changes, but for now, I'm calling this our final video. And this is what you should know and do right now. If you are a US entity or US citizen, pause all BO filings. You do not need this. You can hold off collecting sensitive data from your sensitive ownership information unless required by other laws. Stay alert. We'll try bringing it to you as it comes up, but look out for FinCEN releasing new information. And if you're a foreign operated entity in the US, go check out the new filing deadlines. This is a major regulatory relief for millions of small businesses, and we should be all satisfied with it. But one of the questions that does pop up, and I have the same one, what happens if you already filed? My short answer is no big deal. No big deal. This is going into a secure database. We're supposed to trust FinCEN. They're looking out for our best needs. It is not a big deal if you have already filed. What it does tell you, though, if you do have changes or updates, you do not have to go and file an update or a change. It is not a big deal if you have already filed this. The big news, and I'm bringing it to you here today, a little bit late, but if you're a US formed entity, you no longer have to worry about BOI.